Please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I remember Casanova almost got his head cut off by a low-hanging power line. And so we were running a patrol up that road, right? And so I'm following him. And I forgot who his driver was. You're going to have to edit that one out. I don't think he was driving. I think it was his. And so we're driving, and I watched this power line, stretch across the road, and it's hanging low. And so his driver just keeps on going, and doesn't say anything to Casanova. And Casanova was like looking at something and turned around right in time for that wire to just catch him right here, dude. And it just like raked his head back. You just see that wire just like, it looked like it was about to take his face off.
Jeez.
And as soon as that happened, dude, he just gets out of that turret and he walks over across the top of the vehicle and is still driving. And he's just punches this guy like right in the face, man. And he just walks back to the turret. And so then it's like, all right, well, I know that wire is there. So I went and I grabbed it and I was like, all right, well, if it was still live, which there was no power, but if it was still live, I would have saw them fry on that vehicle. So I just went and grabbed it and, kind of like pulled it over the ventilator aspirator valve so it didn't hang up there, and then my crew chief basically, grabbed it from there and, put it over him. But I was just like, oh, man, Casanova about died on that one. Could you imagine, dude, if that actually was a little bit lower and caught him in the neck? That would have ripped his head straight off, dude.
Yeah, we was lucky he wasn't live. Who was that? He was at the battalion for a while, sergeant, who tried to grab a power line and push it up, but it was live. And it jacked his hands up.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was.
I don't remember that.
He was over at the.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Sergeant. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he grabbed a power line. It him up.
I remember that now.
I do remember that story now. Yeah.
Remember that guy? Remember
Okay.
because it was after we got out. He was over there. He had like the gloves because he kept having surgeries or something. I mean, his hands got burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. So yeah, freaking Casanova's one lucky bad.
Yeah.
That'd be a shitty way to go. Yeah, that square, that was a cool place, man.
Yeah, I just remember like, okay, we came in here guns blazing, man, and then turns out it was a Christian community. And
yeah, I remember once we figured that out, everybody was just kind of like, oh shit, okay, all right, cool.
yeah.
I remember like our whole posture kind of changed.
It really did, man. And especially when they started coming out, like, the women come out in like jeans and, nice shirts on, with high heels, and they're all stumbling around because they don't ever walk in them.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember, I mean, it was Cliffhanger or somebody, had a little group of us, or maybe it was all of us, and they were talking about, yeah, it's a Christian neighborhood, so we're cool. You guys can, don't let your guard down, but you can, relax a little bit. At
Right.
least.
Yeah.
Because, good chances are none of these guys are going to try and like jihad us or anything like that.
Yeah, I remember one night, I think it was like maybe the first night or the second night, we were in the back of the vehicle, and one of the locals I can't remember how we initiated contact with them, but he asked us, hey, do you guys you guys hungry? Do you want to eat? And we're like, yeah, sure. So he went to his house and he made some kind of food. It was like pita bread. And I don't know if it's like hummus or some kind of like bean-based meal, and brought it over to the track. And we're like, oh man. So we, he hands us like this pot and stuff, and all this like pita bread, and gives it to us. And he just kind of like goes and walks off a little bit. And so we closed the back hatch on the vehicle and we sat there and we ate. And we probably sat there for probably a good hour and a half, just like eating and, talking, just being in no hurry whatsoever. And we went and opened the hatch to go like try and find where the guy lived. And it turned out the whole time he was just like standing there on the outside of the vehicle, while we were eating and stuff. And it was like, oh dude, I didn't even know you were out here. We felt we felt like horrible, it's just like, dude, had I known, we would have definitely, eaten a lot quicker, and got this stuff back to him. But
Jeez.
yeah, it was just like, dude, I just left him, we just left him like standing there for an hour and a half.
where were we? Somebody ended up in somebody's house, and they had satellite TV, and they were watching MTV, and like the guy had an electric guitar, and they were playing. Who was that? You know what I'm talking about?
Man, I have no idea. That was at what wathiq?
I don't remember where that was. It couldn't have been there because there was no power there.
Yeah, because nobody had power. I mean, even in Baghdad didn't.
I think it was
Baghdad didn't have power either.
Yeah, no, they didn't. It must have been before that then. But I think it might have been. I don't remember where we were, but there was a point where we ended up at a water purification plant, and one of Saddam's kids had a house kind of across the street, and I want to say it was in that area. That's where that house with the MTV and the guy. They went into the house and they were hanging out watching MTV, and the guy brought his daughters out and made him food and stuff. And I remember hearing about it because we were over at the water purification plant. Kind of funny, freaking! I asked, because I had to use the bathroom, so I asked the guys, I'm like, "Hey, where's the bathroom at?" They're like, "Oh, they're over there." And so I walk, and our whole purpose there, right, was to protect this water purification plant, right? The power was on; it's purifying the water, supplying water to some part of Baghdad, and I tripped over a cord in the dark. It was an extension cord, and the whole place just goes dark. I shut that place down, man.
Winning hearts and minds.
Yeah. I was like, oh, crap, dude. I'm the saboteur here now, Maybe you got to plug back in. Those guys are cool. They gave us like some kind of tasted like bean with bacon soup, man. They gave us some soup and some bread, and we were hanging out there.
Yeah, that was probably the same stuff that we had over in wathiq. It was like some kind of like bean with like bacon or something. Yeah, I'm sure it wasn't bacon, but that's kind of like what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, that's what it tasted like, was bean with bacon soup. I don't know if they had like some kind of smoked meat in there, but I don't know. It was good.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of interesting, like talking to you guys and like trying to piece this together. I just remember, you remember how it is when you're there. I mean, a lot of the time you're in your vehicle, like that vehicle is like your whole world.
Yeah.
The only thing is what exists in your immediate area, and talking to people from other vehicles and stuff. I mean, different perspectives. I mean, I remember it's like we pull up into like a wathiq square and we get out the vehicles, and I'd see you or I'd see other people. It's like I haven't seen you in a week. You know what I mean? We've been in vehicles like next to each other, but we haven't like talked. We haven't seen each other for like a week, or it seemed like longer. It's just a trip. It was like a high school reunion whenever you pull into a place and everybody gets off their vehicles and you get to like hang out for a minute.
Yeah, it really was, man. And that was like very accurate, because I remember thinking the same thing. It's like we're all together, but we're also isolated from each other, because nobody just sits there and talks over the radios. You got to keep them open, and yeah, you just go for, it felt like forever, before you see that person who's, vehicle has been following you the whole time, or you've been following them or whatever, and it was just like the coolest feeling, and I remember we were I forgot what the compound was, but I remember the team tank, guys came and rolled up with us, and that was like the first time we'd seen them, I think, since the wars, basically started. And it was just like, a big, huge reunion, because Team Tank didn't really roll with us. They were off kind of doing their own thing. And, just seeing those guys was just like, dude, I got so many stories I want to tell you guys, And, of course, they were only there for a couple of hours, so they ended up leaving. But it's just like, I just remember having like all these stories I just wanted to like tell them about, and it's like they've technically been with us, but they weren't around us,
Yeah.
So
it's kind of sealed in your own little world. So it's kind of a trip when you think about it.
Yeah.
And then you stop and you dismount, you shut the vehicle off for a minute.
Yeah.
And it's like, God, I haven't seen you in forever, man. How you doing? It's like we haven't seen each other in years, and freaking.
It was like a week.
Yeah, it's just weird. Yeah, good old Team Tank, man. Freaking the Mike 88 that could never keep up. Remember they always lost comm with that poor Mike 88?
Remember when I got stuck in the mud?
I don't remember. I just remember we'd be driving down the road and you just 20 minutes, Mike 88, Kilo 7. Mike 88 Kilo 7. Like the Mike 88 just kept getting lost.
Man.
Man.
I
Yeah, that's
remember-
right. The Mike 88 that got stuck in the mud, and we ended up daisy chaining it was a tank, right?
Yeah, it was a tank, and then that didn't work, so I ended up hooking my track up to it and pulled it out of the mud. I was pretty proud of that.
Because there was a tank stuck, and everybody was kind of standing around, and we were talking about daisy chaining. And remember, the Mike 88 is just like kind of comes in like, "Fuck it, I got it. I'm a Mike 88." Oh, Mike 88 stuck, and so I think we ended up daisy chaining some tracks and pulled the tank out and just left the Mike 88 and kept on our merry way.
It was like 2 inches of mud too.
It was
we had
deeper
the
than
daisy
that,
chain.
wasn't it?
It was. I mean, it was, but I was, hyperbole and all that.
Yeah.
It wasn't a lot of mud though. It wasn't like knee deep or anything.
Well, it was enough to get a tank stuck.
That didn't take much.
Yeah, that's true about that.
That was kind of one of the crazy things too, is because I had 3 tanks in front of me, and then I had my section leader, and then I had me, and then like all the guys trailing behind. I have no, I guess, context of what was going on at any point behind me. It's like I saw everything from the front, but anything that was behind my vehicle, I had no idea what was going on back there, and it seems like a lot of the times people like talk about, oh, did you see this or see that? Or, the Mike 88 story. I don't remember any of that. It's like, I don't know what was going on outside my section. I don't even know what Bufu was doing, on his vehicle behind me. It's just my whole perspective.
Ooh, that was his call sign.
My whole perspective was just my vehicle forward,
Yeah.
And it's like I had one AAV in front of me, so what the rest of all the other AAVs are doing, it's like I wish I knew.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of talking about. You're like in your own little world. I mean, in the driver's station, I know what was going on in my vehicle, and I know what was going on for about 270 degrees around me,
Yeah.
And
Just be glad you weren't behind Rocky, because he
I was
ran
behind
over.
a tank. I distinctly remember being behind a tank a lot, because to this day, I haven't smelled tank exhaust in years, but like that's the smell that I will never forget. Just being behind a fucking tank the whole time.
Yeah, tanks smell horrible.
What was wrong with Rocky?
Oh, he ran over Mr. Crispy.
Oh, is he the one?
Yep. And I was behind him when he did it, and oh, dude, I wanted to puke. That was the nastiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, right. Won't be eating one of those pit roasted pigs anytime soon,
Right?
Hell yeah, I love pork burger.
Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories.